Hey ARMY, welcome back to this channel. And if this is your very first time here, welcome to the most up-to-date place for everything BTS. Today, we're talking about something that genuinely warms the heart. In the middle of all the excitement surrounding the most anticipated BTS comeback in K-pop history, the Hybe Rm album dropping on March 20th, 2026, there's one moment that has had ARMY all over the world smiling nonstop. Jimin, once again, proving that he is the ultimate support system for Suga. And ARMY, this is not the first time. So before you keep scrolling or switch to something else, stay right here. Because we're going to go through every single time Jimin showed up for Suga, from the most iconic moments to the very latest one ahead of this historic comeback. Ready? Let's go? Okay, first things first, we need to talk about just how massive this moment is for ARMY around the world. Hybe Rm is BTS's 6th Korean studio album, and it marks their very first full-length release after more than 3 years of hiatus. 3 years, ARMY. Think about that. One by one, each member of BTS completed their mandatory military service. And the last one to finish was Suga, who was officially discharged on June 21st, 2025. From that moment on, the K-pop world held its breath. When would BTS come back? When would we finally see all 7 members on stage again? And the answer is March 20th, 2026. The Hybe Rm album contains 14 brand new tracks. The lead single is titled Swim, an alternative pop track inspired by themes of resilience and pushing through life's hardest moments. Alongside it are Body to Body, Hooligan, Aliens, FY 2.0, Number 29, Merry-Go-Round, Normal, Like Animals, They Don't Know About Us, One More Night, Please, and Into the Sun. The album title itself comes from an iconic Korean folk song that has around 3,600 variations across 60 different versions, carrying meanings that range from longing and reunion to a long journey finally arriving home. And honestly, if that doesn't perfectly describe BTS and ARMY's journey over these past 3 years, I don't know what does. And making it even more extraordinary, just one day after the album drops, on March 21st, 2026, BTS will perform a massive live concert at Gwangwon Square in Seoul, broadcast live to the entire world through Netflix. This is literally the first K-pop concert ever to be streamed globally live by Netflix directly from South Korea. Historic doesn't even begin to cover it. And right in the middle of all this excitement, Jimin stepped forward with one quiet, sincere gesture that once again proved just how deep his bond with Suga truly runs. Alright, let's start with the most recent developments. November 2025. While the Hybe Rm album was in its final stages, Jimin became the very first person to publicly tell fans that the album was done and ready to be released. Just think about that for a second. While all of ARMY was anxiously waiting and refreshing every platform for news, Jimin showed up on Weverse and told the world the album was finished. He gave millions of fans the reassurance they needed, right when they needed it most. And for Suga specifically, this meant everything. Because Suga was the last member to complete his military service, which means he was also the last one to join the recording sessions. And at that most critical moment, when the entire team's energy was at its absolute peak, Jimin stepped up as the first cheerleader, sending a message to the world. Our album is ready. And we are all here, together. But that's not all. During the Hybe Rm recording sessions in Los Angeles in July 2025, Jimin, Jungkook, and Suga were spotted together at Incheon International Airport, flying to the United States together to join RM, who had already arrived earlier. The photos from that airport went instantly viral. ARMY couldn't hold back tears seeing this trio reunited again. And of course, Jimin was right there, by Suga's side, from day one of the album's creation. And looking at the album's credits, Suga was involved in writing several key tracks, including Body to Body, Merry-Go-Round, and Normal. Jimin, meanwhile, contributed to They Don't Know About Us and Into the Sun. The songs they each wrote, though different in sound, both carry an undercurrent of longing and reunion, as if both of them were writing from the same place, from hearts that have always been connected. And perhaps most touching of all, this album has been described as a kind of love letter to ARMY, and Jimin, as always, is the one most vocal in delivering that love. But as the title of this video says, this is not the first time. Let's rewind the clock and look at just how consistently Jimin has shown up for Suga, long before Arirang was even a thought. Moment number 1. Suga's D-Day concert, Newark 2023. Does anyone remember this moment? Back in 2023, Suga embarked on his legendary solo world tour under his alter ego August D, the D-Day World Tour. This followed the release of his D-Day album, the third installment of the August D trilogy, and was later immortalized in the documentary film Suga, Road to D-Day. At one of the most memorable nights of the tour, held at the Prudential Center in Newark, New Jersey, who was spotted arriving at the venue? Not just any fan, not just a random attendee, but Park Jimin himself, who came specifically to watch his best friend perform. Some fans near the venue managed to capture the moment Jimin arrived. Even with a mask on, Jimin's presence was undeniable. And when he bowed to ARMY fans waiting outside, the entire crowd erupted in cheers that echoed through the Newark night air. What made that moment even more special was the venue itself. The Prudential Center was the same place where BTS had performed during the Wings tour back in 2017, 6 years earlier. That night, Suga and Jimin were said to have shared memories and laughed together about backstage moments from that tour. Both of them smiling, both of them nostalgic. And in that moment, it was crystal clear that their friendship is something no amount of time or distance can touch. Jimin kept his promise, a promise he had reportedly made before the show even started, that he would be there for Suga. And he showed up. No big announcement, no social media post. He just came, because his best friend was performing. Moment number 2, the historic Weverse live reunion, August 2025. Fast forward to August 2025. This was the very first time, after more than 2.5 years, that all 7 members of BTS appeared together in a Weverse live stream, broadcasting from Los Angeles. Suga had just completed his military service, and this was the first time the full group had reunited. In that incredibly emotional moment, when ARMY all over the world was crying, screaming, and flooding Weverse with hundreds of millions of messages, Jimin was one of the most visibly overjoyed to have Suga back. There was a warm, natural moment in the stream where Jimin's happiness at being reunited with everyone, especially Suga, was written all over his face. For longtime ARMY members who had followed BTS through everything, that moment was proof that nothing, not time, not distance, not 2.5 years apart, could break this bond. The chemistry, the warmth, the inside jokes, all of it was exactly the same as it had always been. Moment number 3, the New Year letters, 2026. To kick off 2026, all 7 members of BTS, including both Jimin and Suga, sent handwritten letters to their fans, celebrating the new year and expressing gratitude for the unwavering support ARMY had given them throughout the long hiatus. Fans who didn't receive a physical letter could read them on Weverse in late January 2026. This was a more subtle form of support, but no less meaningful. At a time when many idols might go quiet after completing military service, BTS chose to remain present, keep communicating, and maintain that connection with their fans. And underpinning all of it is the bond between the members themselves, including the unshakable connection between Jimin and Suga. Now, let's take a moment to talk about why the relationship between Jimin and Suga always hits ARMY so deeply. If we trace BTS's journey back to their debut in 2013, Jimin and Suga are 2 people who, on the surface, couldn't be more different. Suga, or Yoongi, has always been known for being quiet, introverted, and someone who expresses his feelings most powerfully through music and writing. Jimin, on the other hand, is warm, expressive, and never shy about showing affection directly. But that's exactly where the magic of this bond lives. They complete each other. Jimin becomes the light that illuminates the darker, deeper corners of Suga's world. And Suga becomes the anchor that grounds Jimin when he needs steadiness and calm. Many fans believe this bond was forged through thousands of hours of practice together, hundreds of nights in the same dorm, and a journey so long and so intense that only the 2 of them could fully understand it. Whenever Suga succeeds, a solo album, a world tour, an international collaboration, Jimin is there to celebrate with him. And whenever Suga is struggling, Jimin is always the first one to reach out a hand. What makes this even more authentic is the fact that Jimin's support has never once felt scripted or like fan service. He didn't tweet before showing up at Suga's concert. He didn't go live while watching Suga perform. He just showed up, quietly, sincerely. And in a K-pop industry that can often feel calculated and artificial, a friendship like this is something incredibly rare and incredibly precious. Okay, let's bring it back to 2026 and talk about what's coming in the next few days. March 20th, 2026, Hybe Rm officially releases globally. 14 new songs from 7 people we have missed more than words can describe. The lead single, Swim, is already predicted to dominate global charts the moment it drops. And given BTS's track record, that's not just hype. What makes this album especially incredible is that it was created collectively by all 7 members, not just written by 1 or 2. RM was involved in writing nearly every single track. Suga and jhope made major contributions to several songs. Jimin wrote for They Don't Know About Us and Into the Sun. V contributed to 2.0 and Into the Sun. Jungkook played a key role in 4 tracks including Hooligan. Jin and jhope round out the contributions across the rest of the album. And the production lineup? Absolutely stacked. Diplo, who reportedly called this project the craziest album I've ever worked on. Kevin Parker of Tame Impala. Mike Will Made It. Ryan Tedder of One Republic. If that roster doesn't get your heart racing, I honestly don't know what will. Then on March 21st, 2026, the historic concert, BTS The Comeback Live Hybe Rm, takes place at Gwangwoman Square in Seoul, and the entire world can watch it live on Netflix, included with any existing subscription. No extra ticket needed. Army Everywhere gets front row seats. And it doesn't stop there. On March 27th, 2026, Netflix will release the exclusive documentary BTS, The Return, directed by acclaimed filmmaker Bao Nguyen. This documentary takes ARMY behind the scenes, inside the creative process, the emotional moments, and the journey of all 7 members coming back together after military service to create something truly extraordinary. And after all of that, the Hybe Rm World Tour kicks off in April 2026, spanning 34 countries and more than 82 shows across Asia, North America, Latin America, Europe, and the Middle East. All of this, every single extraordinary thing happening right now, is the result of a journey that started long before the hiatus, long before military service, and long before many of us even became ARMY. And at the heart of that journey are 7 people who have always looked out for each other, including Jimin, who has never, not even once, stopped being in Suga's corner. And of course, every single time Jimin shows up for Suga, ARMY does not stay quiet about it. Hashtags like #YunMin, #JiminForSuga, and #SupportSystemGoals trend on Twitter/X every single time a new moment between these two surfaces. And ahead of the Hybe Rm comeback, older moments have been going viral again. Clips of Jimin at the D-Day concert, photos of the 2 of them at the airport, even old Weverse screenshots showing their warm and playful banter. The thing ARMY always points out? Jimin never does this for show. He doesn't post on social media first. He doesn't go live when he attends Suga's events. He just shows up, quietly, genuinely. And that's exactly what makes every single one of these moments so precious. Because we know this is real. So many ARMY members have said that watching Jimin and Suga's friendship is one of the biggest reasons they've stayed devoted fans of BTS for years. In a world full of K-pop drama and controversy, seeing 2 people who genuinely, deeply care about each other is something that feels like a breath of fresh air. And if you're just now discovering BTS through the Hybe Rm comeback, welcome. You've just stepped into a universe that's not just about incredible music. It's also about an incredible friendship that has stood the test of time, distance, and everything in between. Alright, ARMY, that's a wrap. Every moment where Jimin proved he's Suga's ultimate support system, and how he's done it again right ahead of the biggest BTS comeback of 2026. March 20th is right around the corner. Hybe Rm is waiting for us. And on March 21st, we'll all be gathered in front of our screens on Netflix, watching these 7 incredible people take the stage together again. If you love this video, please give it a like, leave a comment, and hit subscribe so you never miss a BTS update. And if there's a Jimin Suga moment I didn't mention here that holds a special place in your heart, drop it in the comments below. I genuinely want to know which one means the most to you. See you in the next video. And as always, I purple you army. Purple heart.